Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Hope this video finds you well. Today I am back again with my topic of Wazuh, and today we are going to install the Wazuh latest version 4.9. If you see here, we have multiple updates in few months, and the 4.9 is also released from the Wazuh developer. So we are going to install Wazuh on the Linux CentOS 8.5. What are the key steps for the installation? Certificates creation, nodes installation, cluster initialization. We are going to perform these two steps in every part, like Wazuh indexer, Wazuh server and Wazuh dashboard, because I am going to install Wazuh on a single node. That's why we are going to skip this cluster initialization. A note for our information, you need root user privileges to run all the commands described below. So I have accessed my Wazuh VM and I have root user I am going to use. So we are going to create certificates, generating the SSL certificates, download this file and this configuration file. This creates a certificate that encrypt communication between the Wazuh central components. So this is going to be an important part for the installation. Now we are going to download a built-in configuration file. What is the next step? We have to edit this configuration file and replace the node name and IPs for the Wazuh server, Wazuh indexer and Wazuh dashboard nodes. So I am going to use the editor nano and I am going to open this configuration file. Here you are. What is the node name for the Wazuh indexer? I am going to install Wazuh indexer on this node and I have named this node as a Wazuh, and the current IP address for this node, because I am going to install Wazuh indexer on the same node. And the name for Wazuh server is Wazuh 1. I am going to use this default one, and the IP will be same because I am going to install these all central components on a single node. So that's why every component IP would be same, and I have pressed the control X and going to enter Y for the confirmation and press enter. This configuration file has been saved. Now what we are going to do, we are going to run this command to create the certificates for multi-node clusters. These certificates will be available on every node, and because this is a single node installation, we don't have to copy these certificates on any other node. Right, copy the this certificate file to all nodes including the Wazuh indexer, Wazuh server and dashboard nodes. So we are going to skip this step. Now what is the second step? Node installation, installing package dependencies. Let's check. This dependency is already installed, so we are going to add the repositories for the smooth installation of Wazuh components. Now run this command to install the Wazuh indexer. and the total download size for Wazuh Indexer is 813 MB, and installed size will be 1 GB requirement. And you can see and verify from here which package it is installing and what is the version. The download process just has been completed. It has been completed in 5 minutes. Now the script is installing the Wazuh Indexer component. The Wazuh Indexer has been installed. Now we have to configure the Wazuh Indexer, and for that purpose we are going to use or edit this configuration file. Use the editor and go to this configuration file. Here you have to define the IP address for the indexer and the name here for indexer, because we are running with a single node, and we are going to skip this part because this is a cluster part, and define the node name here for the indexer. Save this configuration file. You can read these instructions for your clarification. Now we have to deploy the certificates for the indexer. Name, use the name as defined for the Wazuh indexer. I have defined the name for Wazuh indexer is Wazuh, and let's copy these three commands, and you have to replace this dollar sign node underscore name with your indexer name. We have two times in this script command and one time the lower ones. Now run these certificates command. Now run these remaining three commands, and the last one to make the owner Wazuh indexer. Now starting the service, enable and start the Wazuh indexer service. Run these commands one by one. Keep in your mind, the more resources you allocate to your Wazuh server, the more better and fast performance you will get. I have only assigned 3 GB of RAM and one processor because I am going to install a single node server and and not going to register any agents. That's why I have assigned the limited resources. The Wazuh indexer service started. You can confirm this by status command, and this is the cluster part. I am going to skip because this is a single node installation. The next component is Wazuh server. The installation process is divided into two stages: Wazuh server node installation, cluster configuration, or for multi-node deployment. We are going to perform this only one step. Note as usual, root user privilege is required. Adding the Wazuh repository. If I am going to install Wazuh server on another node, I am going to add these repositories again. So I have earlier added these repositories. I am going to skip these steps, and I am going to do with installing the Wazuh manager. So simply run this command to install Wazuh manager. The download size for Wazuh manager is 303 MB and installation size is 857 MB. The download is completed. Now the installation has been started. Installation also completed. Now installing the file beat package. It has also been installed. Now configuring file beat, download the pre-configured file beat configuration file. Okay, has been downloaded. Now we are going to edit this file according to our requirement. In this configuration file we have to change only in the host tab. The list of Wazuh indexer node to connect to, you can use either IP address or host name. By default the host is set to localhost. Replace it with your Wazuh indexer address accordingly. This is for the single node installation. If we are running with multiple Wazuh indexer node, we have to add all the indexer IPs here. So we are going to change only here with our Wazuh indexer IP and save this configuration file. Now create a file beat key store to securely store authentication credential. Add the default username and password admin and admin to secret key store. If you want to change, you can change here with, you can replace admin and admin with your required username and password, but I am going to use the default. It's done. Download the alert templates for Wazuh indexer. Install the Wazuh module for file beat. Now we are going to install, or sorry, deploying the certificates. I have named my Wazuh manager as Wazuh-1 in the main configuration file. Here we are going to certificates directory for this part, and as told you earlier, replace the name where it's needed. If you make any mistake in the names, the certificates will not be deployed successfully and the error will pop up. if you run these commands one by one. Okay, now we are configuring the Wazuh indexer connection. You can skip this step if you are not going to use the vulnerability detection capability. Save the Wazuh indexer username and password into the Wazuh manager key store using the Wazuh key store tool. So as a pre-installation, we will go with this step and name these as you like. I am going to use the admin username and password here as well. The default step installation credential are admin. If you want to skip uh, make changes in these, you can run these command with the changed ones. I have run again this command with the default username and password. Edit this configuration file to configure the indexer connection. By default, the indexer setting has been one host configure. It is set to this IP as highlighted below. So edit this configuration file to add the indexer IP. Find this host and replace here with the indexer IP. And once again, if you are installing cluster or running a single node installation but have multiple indexers separately, you have to copy this line and add here with your all indexer IPs here. Now save this configuration file. Let's verify. Yeah, it has been saved. As you can see, I have told you earlier, if you have multiple indexer running, you have to do like this. Now we are going to start our Wazuh manager service. It has been started without any error. CentOS is active and running, if you see here. Okay, now we have to start the file beat service here as well, because we have installed it and configuration has been done according to requirement. If you see, every time we run enable command with every service, because if anyhow your server rebooted with and these all services, if enabled, will be restarted by themselves. Okay, this is for the cluster part. If you want to see this error remove, I will show you. You have to run this command from the previous Wazuh indexer steps. The connection with the server has been lost. Let me check. Okay, my connection has been restored. So we are at this step. We simply have to initialize a cluster with a single node, and it has been started. Now let's see the small error we have received for the output of file beat. Now you can see no error visible here. Now for the multi-node deployment you have to follow these instructions. So we are going to ignore these steps, skip these steps. Now we have the dashboard installation part, and we have the root user and install this dependency. It has been is installed. We are going to skip this repository step because we have installing with single node. Run this command to install the Wazuh indexer. Sorry, Wazuh dashboard, and the download size for dashboard is 253 MB and 848 MB the installation size. The download has been completed. Now installation process has been started for the Wazuh dashboard component. After that we have to edit this configuration file for the Wazuh dashboard, and in this configuration file we are going to edit two options: server host and open search host. In the server host we are going to assign the Wazuh indexer IP, that will be the same because this is a single node installation. And in open search host, if we have multiple indexer we are going to add the IPs like this, and because we have a single indexer we are going to replace the local host with our indexer IP. Here you have to add the dashboard IP, that will be the same in the case of single node installation, and here the indexer IP, and save this configuration file. After that, deploy the certificates. I have named my dashboard as a dashboard. As usual, create the directory for these certificates and replace with dashboard. After these three, run the remaining certificate command, and then we are going to start the Wazuh dashboard service. Verify it is started. Yes, it is started and running. Now edit this configuration file and replace the URL value with the IP address of host name of Wazuh server master node. So we are going to add the Wazuh server Wazuh manager IP here. You in this configuration file you have to go down till the end of the configuration file, and Again, the IP address will be same because we have single node installation. And now you have to access the Wazuh server in the browser and use the admin name and password as the default username and password, and press the login button. These are the simple steps and some few new steps added in this latest Wazuh server installation. You have to follow this guidance and you can easily install Wazuh server step by step according to your requirement. And here you go, we have successfully installed the Wazuh server with the new dashboard interface and have some new options in the Wazuh server. Hope you guys understood how you can install the latest Wazuh server 4.9. Please support me and my channel. Please like and subscribe and share with your friends, colleagues and students. Until then, stay blessed, stay tuned. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.